Crosshair. Forget the Empire. This isn't you. It's your inhibitor chip. We can help you. Wrong. I had my chip removed a long time ago. Since when? Does it matter? Yes. This is who I am.
Yeet.
I'm glad that we're back to like the standoff, like the Western,
Yeah.
you know, the Western feel. What is up, everybody? It is your boy, it's Konkon. Back
We back.
at it again. Give it to me one more time. I got you on camera now. Give it to me.
We back.
There we go.
Enjoying a delicious, crisp beverage right now.
Bro,
Sorry.
you know what? I am going to join you. Guys, welcome to Konkon's Cantina, the #1 Star Wars drinking podcast in the nation.
#1 Star Wars drinking / Pokemon / Marvel /
You know what?
pop culture.
I'm glad you brought it up. If you are still into, or getting back into Pokemon, check us out on TikTok at Cantina for things
And Instagram.
to cure your Pokemon addiction, because we're all crackheads apparently.
Justify Connor's immense amount of money that he's spending.
We're not going to talk about that. we're gonna gloss over that. But you know what? We're not going to gloss over. Episode 15, Return to Camino, the first episode, the part 1 season finale of The Bad Batch. Now, Justin,
Sir.
give me your out of 10 rating for this episode.
Ooh, that's hard because it's only a part 1.
It is.
I'm going to rate this pretty high. I think that I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay.
There's definite heaviness to this episode,
Yeah.
which this show had been lacking previously in kind of the middle chunk of the series.
Yeah.
Started off very heavy, kind of lost some of that in the middle, and I think it's good to get back into some of the seriousness, good vibe, vibes, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. Can't wait to see the next.
You did not give...
I said
you
eight.
said
Yeah,
8.
8.
My bad. For me, I did really enjoy this episode. Kind of something that I was talking to you about is the middle of the series really, really struggled for me. And also the confirmation that we got season 2.
Yes. Oops, I just kicked my camera. Sorry.
On a me side, not on the show side, it already kind of curved my expectations for the finale. And having a 2-part isn't something that we're not familiar with. We had the same thing with Clone Wars Season 7. I kind of wish that they would just release both at the same time and have it be a 40-minute episode instead of splitting it up. I think that is better for us as content creators. I think it's better for the show. I think that a lot of this show would have been more enjoyable for me watching it simultaneously instead of each individual episode.
I agree 100% with that statement.
This episode, and I usually don't feel like I'm guilty of this, but I'm guilty of it this time. The EU kind of ruined this episode for me. When I
know
saw,
where you're going.
when I saw that it was Return to Camino, we've talked about it on the show before. There is the brother versus brother story arc from the Battlefront 2, the original PlayStation 2 games, where Camino were breeding clones to fight against the Empire, and then the Empire brought their clones, who were still clones, back to Camino. They all fight. It's led by Boba Fett. It's this whole thing. I really wanted to see more of that. Instead, we'll get into the recap here, but you know, that brought it down a little bit for me, even though that's not what it was.
That was set expectations in your head.
It was.
Versus what they ended up doing.
Yeah.
Kind of ruined it.
This episode visually is one of the coolest ones so far. We had all those like Star Destroyer scenes.
Oh, that was so cool.
A lot of what
poster-worthy shots.
A lot of poster-worthy shots in this episode. I really enjoyed it. So still 7 out of 10. I think, and that could go up with the next
Part
episode.
2.
Yeah. I really liked Crosshair having a redemption. We don't know how far
weird, like almost nonsensical in a way because nothing happened to trigger it, but I'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. Guys, before we get into housekeeping, let's play that intro music.
Welcome to Konkon's Cantina. Grab a drink, sit back, relax.
I still can't get over our intro music. I love it.
It's so good.
I seriously
More
love it.
80s synth vibes.
All of it. Guys, look, you already know. I'll go through it quickly so we can get into this episode. Cantina at all the social media. Facebook, we have the Discord, which is where we talk about all of our spoiler stuff. We now have added a Halo Infinite channel, which is going to be going on there. We're going to have the voice channel on there and also the text thread channel for that. Of course, we still have some rec shirts. Limited. We're literally only down to like 4 rec shirts. So
And we got our Cantina.
Yes, we do have plenty of the regular Cantina shirts. We need to do a sale. We just need to do a sale.
Down.
Yeah, we need to do that. But guys, before you make any sort of purchases on the Big Cartel, be sure to message us. Big Cartel does not allow us to put the inventory for the sizes that we have, so send us a message there. And of course, please rate and share the podcast, guys. We've had a lot of people recently going back
I noticed that.
and listening to our old episodes.
Starting from 1 and working through.
Yeah, like a lot of people going to season 1 of Mandalorian and season 2 of Mandalorian. That's super cool. If any of you are caught up and still listening to our new episodes, hello.
Mm-hmm.
We love you.
Well, maybe.
Leave a rate, okay, 5 stars. Leave a comment. Send us some constructive criticism. You know, tell Justin that he needs to do his hair better. You know, whatever you want to do. You know, tell me to learn to read. You know, come on, get with it. We appreciate every single one of you guys, and of course our Patreon group. We appreciate you guys immensely. Back to this episode. So this episode, season 1, episode 15. Return to Kamino. What about this to me? So I always do this. I ask you a question because I know where I'm going, and then you have to think on your feet really fast. Yeah,
Go for it.
I'm preparing you for other things in life, dude. Come on. This episode immediately made me want to go watch Attack of the Clones. Like
Kamino vibes. Like
we heard the Kamino music, and it reminded me of Jango fighting Obi-Wan. And it just
the rain, the thunderstorms outside constantly.
And we so much of that ominous music with the rain and the thunder. I want that on loop to go to sleep to.
Oh, that would be a cool sleep
right?
track.
It would be a really cool sleep. We're gonna release that.
Like lo-fi Star Wars ambiance with like sound effects. I like it.
Thank you for joining Cantina in your sleep track tonight. Tonight, we will be going through the amazing corridors of Kamino. Was that too far?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I didn't mute that. My bad. I tried to go on this whole thing. Yeah, that didn't work. Anyway.
ASMR.
Yeah. It really reminded me of Attack of the Clones. It made me immediately want to go watch that. And this Admiral guy, what do you think about that?
Do we have a name for him?
We do
I know
have a
that we
name for
do,
him.
and
Yeah, we
I
do.
kick myself for not looking at who his actual name is.
Yeah.
I like him. I like I should say maybe not the person, but I like the way he's voiced, the actor.
Yeah.
Like he's a very well written and well acted character that he's definitely he's piqued my interest. I'm hoping that with season 2
Admiral Rampart.
Okay.
Yeah,
there we
that's
go.
his name. Yeah.
So I'm hoping with season 2 being announced that he might be kind of our main Imperial baddie that we have the most direct contact with.
Yeah.
Obviously, I mean, we know that we're going to see some other people, but
I feel like we made this weird switch in somewhere in the season that I don't even know where it stopped and where it started, because Tarkin was in the beginning of this.
and he kind of hands it over to him.
Yeah, like where does Tarkin go? Like, is Tarkin dealing with too much Death Star stuff at this point? Like, and it can't even be that because the events of Rogue One hasn't happened
Tarkin
yet.
is just an admiral at this point, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not Moff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just another admiral. But the Kamino stuff I thought was really cool. Did you have a favorite moment before we get into any sort of a recap? Like, did you have anything that really stood out in this episode? You said something when we watched it off screen.
My favorite moment of this was almost one of the last scenes, and it's the quick montage where they're going through Kamino.
We are a sucker for montages.
And they kind of give you the cloning room with all the glass tube things, and they give you
glass and tubes.
The lunch hall that you've seen 1,000 times, just completely jammed full of clones, and everything is just empty and desolate.
Yeah.
And it was I posted this in Discord. I was like, it was an oddly emotional scene.
Yeah.
I don't really have any connection, caring about Kamino, but it was oddly emotional. Just thinking back of episode 2, like we were just talking about, and everything in Clone Wars, everything in this season of Bad Batch that we've seen, like, for a good part of 10 years. Like, we've seen Kamino and we were associated it with being full of clones and life.
Yeah.
So it was weirdly emotional to, like, see it completely empty and about to just get desolated, destroyed from those cruisers that are just hovering out there.
Yeah, I think my first favorite scene is at the end where they're in that training room again. And I said this to you when we watched it. I loved seeing that this is where the show started, is in that training room fighting these Dark Trooper looking droids, and it's almost like where the show's ending. So it's like we're full circle. I really liked that. And then, of course, you already mentioned it with the Star Destroyers coming in. This is kind of like our first canon representation of glassing a planet.
Yeah, bringing in big heavy cruisers into low orbit and just blasting them apart.
Before they had the Death Star, this is what they were doing. This is what they're supposedly going to do to Mandalore. Hopefully we finally see that whenever we get... Yeah. So it was really cool to see that.
That would be cool. That could actually work, man. We could get some... In Season 2, we could get maybe some of those Mandalore questions answered in this show.
Bad Batch?
Yeah. Because, I mean...
It'd be a lot easier. Animated.
Timeline works out. We're in the Empire now, and it's early days. Dude, that could be a possibility.
Yeah.
I just thought about that.
Yeah, it would...
Some of the stuff they talk about in Season 1 of The Mandalorian... Now I'm drawing a blank of what they called it. The Day of 1,000 Tears or something like that they called it.
Night of 1,000 Tears.
Night of 1,000 Tears. Like, we could see what that actually is in Bad Batch, possibly.
Yeah, because we thought we were going to see that in Mandalorian Season 2.
Yeah.
And we didn't, but we'll get more of that later, sure. So this episode, we'll go through the recap really quickly. The episode is pretty straightforward. Last episode was a banger. This episode was also very, very good. Hunter's obviously captured, and he's brought back to Kamino, which is no surprise. The Clone Force 99 crew kind of thought that, for whatever reason, he would be held on that planet. But he's taken back to Kamino. And, of course, they have to get Hunter. And shout-outs to everybody in the Star Wars universe being a grade A mechanic. Like, is it like they don't learn to read and write in school? They're taught how to work on starships?
Yeah, I don't know. They like to have everybody. Nobody doesn't know how to fix something.
Everybody knows how to fix. Yeah. Is it just... what's one thing I did notice? The toolbox on top of the Gonk droid looks just like the same toolbox that falls on Han in Empire Strikes Back.
Oh, really?
It looks exactly... Well, it's the same one because it is, but in Force Awakens, when Rey is also fixing the Falcon...
And it falls down when she's in the...
It doesn't fall down, but she's asking...
Finn to get
something, and it's the same little. It's just cool because it and it's real world too, because we have toolboxes that kind of that little tray, like a tool tray. I don't know. It was cool. Spanner wrench, we've heard that in Star Wars before, so continuing that continuity. So they finish fixing the ship, and then of course they go to Kamino to rescue Hunter. Omega really starts carrying her weight in this episode. And she started doing a lot more in the episodes before.
Yeah, she's definitely improved her bow and arrow skills.
She also gives them the coordinates to a secret platform that they needed.
Yeah.
And they get there, and this brings them to a room where they were created.
They take the Jurassic World bubble ship.
Yeah, the bubble ship.
Yeah.
T-Rex chasing them and all. A nice thing that they could have added was when they were going through the ocean, like having some sort of a big giant sea creature. That's what I was...
something swim by, like a little school of something.
Yeah, school of fish or something. I wanted to see some big giant... Because the whole planet's covered in water. I need big giant sea monsters, something. But what did I say about the bubble thing? I said something else. You said Jurassic World. Oh, when it opens up, the chute, it looks just like what Luke falls through in the trash chutes in
Empire.
In Empire, yeah.
Yeah, like the weird...
circular, and then it's that classic Star Wars
pie-shaped door that kind of spins to open.
And we have those rounded, oblonged cookie cutter thing.
I don't know where you're going with this.
Never mind.
I'm trying to follow. I'm like, rounded cookie cutters.
Yes, Star Wars cookies. So they go to it wasn't Namaste. It was yeah. What's her name? I can't remember her name. Yeah, no. What's her name?
Born Frita?
There you go. That's it. I like Namaste better, but whatever. So
They do yoga and practice.
Listen, when you have necks that long, you have to do yoga. Can you imagine having a neck? Yeah, you mess up your neck when it's that long.
One of the cool parts, though, in this room, when we're in, which Omega reveals is where in secret they did the mutations on the clones that created Clone Force 99.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that she says that I didn't catch it the first time I watched it, but I was watching it a second time with you, is she said, this is where I was created, and then this is where you were all created. I was here.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean she is actually older than Clone Force 99 with their age acceleration?
It would make sense, and that's something that I actually brought up before we even went into this scene. And I said, does Clone Force 99 have age acceleration? And it would make sense because of their age and how old they are and how old Omega is. But for all we know, to me, for whatever reason, it seems like Boba is already older. You know, kind of like...
You're talking about Kid Boba?
Kid Boba.
That we saw in... Okay.
Yeah. To me, I already see him as a...
You see him as like 15 or something like that, and she's like...
Dude, even like a 20-year-old, like already in his armor. And she's like a kid, which could not be the case. You know, the timeline...
Well, I mean, you line up Clone Wars when we see like where Boba was trying to take out Mace.
Mm-hmm.
It would be... He definitely seems like he was a little older than Omega was. Because that would have been in the past at this point in the timeline. The whole trap with Boba Fett
and
to
Mace.
capture Mace Windu.
I went to see what Travis put in our group, but he removed the message because he didn't want it to be a spoiler. Do you remember what he said?
I didn't see it.
So he removed it. He said something about cloning, and it was probably very similar to what you were saying, is they were in a whole nother thing. But yes, I think that she was one of the first clones made. Think about it. She had to be. They have to have... The second they lost Boba...
Mm-hmm.
They needed another pure clone.
Yeah.
So it would make sense that right after the events of Attack of the Clones...
They started another one.
Which would have been Omega.
And then it would have taken her, however old she is, I'm assuming she's around 12 or something like that, is kind of the vibe I get.
Mm-hmm.
She would have had to literally age 12 years.
Yeah.
From whenever they created her. It's not like the clones.
The only thing that is fuzzy to me is what generation are Bad Batch 99? Because Rex is considered a...
Gen 1.
Gen 1 is the Bad Batch as well. I think they are. It would explain a lot. But it's never really made clear.
Well, look how old 99 was. Like where they got their name.
Yeah.
In what's in the whole
Clone Wars.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the name of that arc, the Domino arc, I think they called it.
Yeah.
Because 99, the old guy, was super old. He was like 70s.
He was 99 years old.
So, I mean, with
Not really.
the age modification, if he was a Gen 1 and he was that old, or I don't know. I'm just speculating purely. I don't know what I'm talking about.
And of course, Crosshair has a trap set up for Clone Force 99. They want them back. Really, what they want them back for, it's really not made clear in the show, to be honest with you. Is it because they want to kill them, or is it because the Empire wants to use them?
And they've switched from hunting Omega to now they're hunting Clone Force 99. Like...
Yeah.
No real reason of why that switch happened.
Yeah. Another interesting thing is when Kamino gets evacuated, one thing that is made clear by Rampart to
whoever that TK...
Tarkin.
Oh, okay.
To Tarkin is all essential personnel is off Kamino, and also the head scientist and all of the Kamino cloning technology is now the Empire's.
Yeah. So we never... I mean, in the last episode, we kind of... They didn't show it, but we assumed that they killed the Prime Minister. I can't remember what the Kaminoan Prime Minister's name is.
It's Namaste.
Oh. But we know that they killed them, and they said...
Oh, it's on Freeta.
No, isn't on Freeta.
I know, it's not.
That's the scientist.
Yeah.
Because we have no need for a politician. A scientist, though, and she leaves, and then the door closes, and we assume that they killed the Prime Minister.
My dude got lit up.
So we don't really know where they went.
Yeah,
like,
no
that's
idea.
all up in the air right now.
Just a prisoner. I mean, I think of like Rogue One. It's just how Galen Erso was used.
Because they said they secured the cloning technology.
Yep.
And now they secured a scientist. So the Emperor can start.
Cloners. Damn good ones, too. They're the best in the galaxy. That was my Dex impression. Yeah. Anyway. So, of course, Crosshair has a trap set for them. Come on, guys. They already knew.
He has a double layered
Dude,
trap set.
my boy Tech, or in this instance Tick, he goes, you know what? We're going to take the lift. They'll never see it coming.
It's like, we're not going through the front door.
We're not going through the front door. We'll come through the floor. That doesn't work out, of course. Let's talk about Crosshairs Redemption. Did not see that coming in the slightest. I
didn't either, because there was no storyline or plot that's been shown, like, for him to have a reason to make a turnaround.
Do you believe that he really doesn't have an inhibitor chip? Or is it a lie? Here's my reasoning. He doesn't have an inhibitor chip because if he did, he could not have done what he did.
He couldn't have set those little mirror ricochet things up.
Yeah.
So, by him having those set up, this was preempted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he had already planned out to kill the troopers, which is weird.
Hunter says, you did all this just to kill us, and then he says, if I would have wanted you dead, you would have been dead a long time ago.
Yeah, but I just don't understand why. Like, what is the reason
He
why?
killed them to gain their trust.
But, like, where is this turned from? You know what I'm saying?
The turn was, we were once brothers, we can be brothers again, and we have to fight for the Empire.
Maybe he did get his chip taken out because he doesn't tell. He says a while ago, or some bullcrap line where we don't know when.
Yeah.
A while ago could have been a week ago for all we know.
Yeah.
So maybe by him getting his chip out is what enables him to actually set the mirror ricochet shot thing up, and he's still a bad guy. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's still kind of a jerk, which he's always been kind of like the more jerky
douchey one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm curious to know what the heck is going to happen in this next episode.
I thought that we would get more of a grand gesture of his redemption.
Yeah. Like a reason why he turns.
But that could be the next episode.
Yeah, I was wanting and I was looking if he was going to have a redemption story, there needed to be a pivotal moment to me for him to like see clearly, or they capture him and they pull the inhibitor chip out and he has like a moment of realization. Like, we really didn't get any payoff, for lack of better word. Like, there was no reason why like he's doing this now.
Yeah, he's just and well, yes. Him not having an inhibitor chip would explain it. Like, oh, this is just me. Like, like you said, they all have their different strong suits physically, and mentally, he could just be a d-bag. Like,
you know what could work is, what if in part 2 it opens with a flashback scene, and it's a flashback of it. It was probably removed, judging by the scarring and the damage on his head. It would have had been the same timeline of when they blasted the engine and he
maybe it
was
got damaged and they had
super injured.
Yep.
So that kind of lines up with the timeline. What if we get like a flashback scene of the inhibitor chip either being damaged or removed, and he kind of just has like this fog lifted, and he kind of like sees what he did and everything, and then we can see how he set it up. That could kind of fix it if it's just starts with a nice flashback. I love montage, so give me another montage.
No, it 100% could work, and then we just get Tarkin or Rampart talking to a Camino scientist, whatever the case may be, explaining it.
And now he seems to be more pissed off that his squad kind of left him for dead, for lack of better terms. Like, they didn't fight for him, they didn't come for him. You left me, you turned on me, is what he said multiple times.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he could still be his little douchey self and be like more pissed off about this at this point, rather than being controlled by the chip.
I think it's pretty obvious, obviously, to the fact that we have a second episode, that they're going to get off Camino. So the Star Destroyers start absolutely obliterating Camino.
Yeah, there's no way they're dead.
Yeah, it's
there's no season 2 if that happened.
It's just credits. That's the next episode. It's so we're gonna have a season 2. So it once again, this is kind of like why I also said earlier, we'll just put the 2 episodes together. Like, there isn't
a nice 45-minute, hour long,
just like the first episode.
Yeah,
because the first episode is still the best. The first episode is still my favorite. The episode 14, I think, is my second favorite because of all the OG Star Wars music that they brought into it. Happy to see that we are getting some sort of a Crosshair redemption. I don't think that this is going to be a full redemption. I do think that they're not going to see eye to eye anymore.
I was going to ask you, do you predict, call it in season 2, that we're going to have the team fully stacked again with Crosshair back with them?
No, I think the events of the next episode will put the fork in the road that keeps them from permanently being together.
You think he'll die?
I think somebody has to die.
You think he's going to be like a moment of clarity and he like sacrifices himself to save?
I'm not afraid to see characters die. I like that because...
Especially the clone. I mean, I don't want to see Wrecker die.
Yeah, no. Oh, God, no.
Omega, she can die.
Really?
I'm done with Omega.
Why?
Can't stand her voice.
Oh, my God. Dude, she's not going anywhere.
That girl doesn't add anything to this show.
You know... Are we finally giving up on she's force sensitive?
Yeah, I think
we got to get rid of it.
Sailed.
The ship has sailed. Is it going with the depths of Camino? It's going down?
Sometimes we are right. Sometimes we are horribly wrong.
Listen,
most of the times when we're wrong is when I make the prediction.
Sam Witwer has done a great job, but this voice acting for Omega has just really been over the top. This whole, the cameo just didn't work this time.
No.
It didn't work. I've grown to like Omega. I
do like her more than I did at the beginning.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But still, every time she talks, Rekka, Hunter.
I think we've been pretty positive with the show. And this is where
I almost laughed when you said that.
This is.
I guess our text messages between each other don't count.
No, they don't. They don't. Yeah. But when we sit down and you really think of it, a first reaction is different than like you sit down and you talk about it, and then you really start to figure out what you did or didn't like. The thing that I did not like so far, and
episode or series,
okay, because we're in a finale. I think we can start talking about it as season one as a whole, even though we're still missing a part of the finale. When you have 4 out of 16 episodes, and let's just call it 5 because the next episode is probably going to be really, really good. When you have 5 out of 16, I need a better batting percentage than that for me. And Clone Wars was no exception, right? Clone Wars had a lot of what people would call filler. A lot of episodes that's kind of like, hey, what are we doing here? Why is this happening? Like, we could have, not every episode can have a sick duel and a lightsaber fight, and I get that. But maybe Clone Wars Season 7 just spoiled me. A shorter season, longer episodes,
but that was
also real content.
That was also wrapping up
I know.
I guess
you're not
6
wrong.
other seasons that were full of that. And, one of the things that I think it has been improved by knowing there is a Season 2, but it would be improved even more if we had, like, if they could give us, like, a rough projected, like, we have an idea for a total arc of a story for the Bad Batch that's going to last 5 seasons.
Yes.
Something like that. Like, I don't need to know exactly how many, but like something, just because like when we talk about Clone Wars, there's a lot of, if we were watching them episodically week by week when you don't know what's going to happen, there's a lot that would make you probably get super pissed.
Oh, we were talking about it in Discord. I'd literally be handing out episodes 1 out of 10 and never think twice about it.
So what I'm hoping is the case is a lot of the episodes from this season that were pretty stupid to us, a lot of it is just introduction of new characters, introductions of plot points that could be drawn back in future seasons. Like the whole thing with Hera, for sure, like that, it was cool and it was
for sure.
Rebels nostalgic and everything, but now we have a setup and we have a base for what that is, that in a future season, they have a relationship with Hera, with Cham. Is it Cham?
Cham. Yep, Cham Syndulla.
Cham Syndulla. We have Rex now.
And her mom has to die. We haven't seen
how she dies. Yep. We have that other clone. What's his name?
Hauser.
Yes, we have more for Hauser for sure.
Greg.
We need more Hauser.
Greg.
What was it? I think it was
Gregor.
Episode 2 where they went to that little farming planet.
He's gone though. He's
I know. I'm just saying,
planet.
but like we've got like these little what you call them, like plot pieces that are now set up. That if it was one season, they were pointless, and that's why we were so pissed because they had to announce another season. Now, with at least Season 2, hopefully it's going to be a 4 or 5 season, kind of like Rebels. What, am I about to knock something over?
No, that's my Switch. You're putting your arm on.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Hopefully, now if there's... I don't know how to word this exactly. It's going to be good.
Let me interrupt you because this
interrupt me. I'm tangenting.
Yeah, because this is what's missing for me as a fan, and I think this is what you're trying to say. When you look back on the Disney Investor Day, and we went through Star Wars, great information, super excited, can't wait for all the shows. That's all we got. When you get to Marvel, it's we have this coming, we have this coming, we have this coming. And guess what? This is how this is connected to that. This is how that's connected to this.
Yeah,
and
you get a timeline.
Where does Bad Batch go to the story? What and maybe they keep some of that from us to add to it, right? They think it'd be better to be a surprise, but maybe they don't know where they're going with it yet.
I think they know. I think they have at least a rough main arc that they want to tell, but I don't think that they know everything yet. And I just wish they would, like, we're projecting like at least 3 seasons. Like, give me at least 3 seasons or some type of a blurb like that.
Yeah.
Where if it gets super popular, it could run for 5 or 6.
Yeah.
But like knowing there was at least 3 and not just like season 2 for all we know is it.
Yeah, and the other thing too is the timeline that this show appears to be going in now. We already have TK units in. Like, the longevity of having this idea that clones are still around, besides Rex showing up in Return of the Jedi, that's going to be some suspension of disbelief things, because if there's all of these clones that are still around and the rebellion is rising, why aren't all these clones in the rebellion fighting against the Empire who destroyed their republic?
Inhibitor chips.
We can't remove them, just like we saw 6 major characters do?
Yeah, but the only way they were able to remove them was by the knowledge Rex had.
Rex can't share that information?
I mean, I guess he could.
He's part of the rebellion from the very start. He's with Ahsoka, who literally almost starts the rebellion.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely could. But the thing is, that would involve a clone wanting to try to go against their chip, which most of them, like, because of the chip, they'll never want to go against their chip.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, to me, I don't mind spoilers as a fan of anything too. Like, I think spoilers can be a good thing, because if you are having expectations, it can curve those expectations. And so I would like to know where they're going, not knowing where Bad Batch is going.
Like, you can know where it gets, but you don't know how it gets there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, the story will be a surprise, but if you had something to know where
you start and where you end is not the journey, it's everything in between, you know. So that to me is something that I'm struggling with, is because I don't see the overall story. Is it entertaining to watch? Yes. Am I enjoying it? Yes. There's
still no goal.
Yeah,
like, they're just running and hiding. There's no goal for what the Bad Batch is trying to accomplish.
If Sid shows up in season 2 and we are doing missions on Ord Mantell again, this will be the Cantina of Rage podcast. Like, I really hope that doesn't happen. But so we have 15 episodes. We have 1 episode left. I can go first, and then you can follow.
Okay.
Who is currently your favorite Bad Batch member, including Omega, leading up to this point? And to follow that up, what do you think is actually going to happen in the last episode? Okay. So, Tech is still my favorite. I love everything about his armor. I love everything about him being the guy behind the computer, but I love the dual pistols, very ARC Trooper-esque. I like that he's also the pilot. He might be the most integral part of the squad. And I also think that he's second in charge, because a lot of what happens when Hunter's kind of taken out of the picture...
No, see, I think Echo's second in charge.
I think Echo has the most steady head on his shoulders. What's that phrase? He's level-headed. He's like the most level-headed out of all of them, because he's not augmented. Like, he is a true clone. But I think Echo is second, or I think Tech is second in charge. In my opinion, I think he's second in charge. So, do you have a favorite so far? And I'd say include Crosshair if that's
my favorite. My favorite was Hunter, just because I liked his character design. Yeah. I just thought he looked cool, and he reminded me of Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid. Oh, yeah. I just loved the way he looked. But through having a full season, it's become Wrecker.
Yeah.
Like, Wrecker's, the humor we get from Wrecker. Oh, man! The humor we get from Wrecker, the, like, selflessness of Wrecker is, like, always willing to sacrifice himself for the team. He's become my favorite. Die. You think that'll be who dies?
Nah, I really don't. Nah, there's no... I don't think... If anybody dies, I think it's Crosshair. And even then, I don't think it's likely. I think his story continues. I think he's too much Clone Force 99 to die.
I think Crosshair either needs to be reunited with the team or stay as the main bad guy, and he's like the pissed off. Now he doesn't have an inhibitor chip, and he's more just pissed off that his team and his excuse me, Niles, don't get that. In his way of thinking, his team abandoned him, so he's like fighting against them out of rage, like trying to get back at them for leaving him.
So where I think this episode is going, me and Roberto talked about this last week. I think that because, quote, Commander has lost control of the situation, as was said in this episode, and they glass the planet, they're going to think that he's dead. They're now going to have to pull somebody else in to go after Clone Force 99, and I think it's Vader.
Okay.
Because
so
we talked about the Galaxy of Hero thing.
Yeah. I'm going to say...
Yeah.
That I feel like Vader has to be involved for some way.
Yeah.
Because if you guys already covered that, I won't dig into it, but he has to be.
If for some reason you missed the last episode, there is a Star Wars turn-based strategy game on iOS and Android called Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and they have legacy characters, and to unlock legacy characters, you have to have certain characters unlocked, usually are tied to their story.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to have those characters unlocked to play the story to unlock the person that you're trying to get.
Such as, like, let's say for
Thrawn.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, for 3PO, you have to unlock and max out all of the I almost said the Wickets.
Oh, the Ewoks.
The Ewoks,
yeah.
Because he was like their ruler to them. So that's who it is.
Yeah.
For this Lord Vader, which is the new character, which is character design is Anakin Skywalker, not in Vader armor, but
Attack of the Jedi of the Coruscant Temple. Vader,
yeah, like
basically.
Revenge of the Sith version of Anakin / Vader.
Yeah,
and you have to have all of Bad Batch unlocked and maxed out to be able to even begin getting him. So that that would mean in my brain they have to be tied in some fashion. Yeah.
Now Vader is already suited at this point in the show, but it doesn't mean that we don't see Vader. You know, Vader is Vader, whether he's in the suit or not. So that's where I think we go. I think that we actually see. I think we see Vader in the next episode, or maybe he's the cliffhanger. Maybe he's the cliffhanger into episode or season 2. You know, like I'll handle this.
I don't know. There's
whatever.
no reason that we know that Vader is suited right now.
What are you talking about?
We have no idea if Vader is suited right now.
Yeah, we do. In the very first episode, Palpatine gives his speech that he gives in Revenge of the Sith, where he says, you know, I'm reorganizing everything into the Grand Republic. Dude, it's like 5 minutes later he's fighting on Mustafar. There's no way he's not Vader at this point.
But that's a lot of speculation. Because we have
you can say speculation, it's not a lot.
Because we have to remember, this is literally this season, which this couldn't be more than a couple weeks from the start of the season in real life time. They've just been hiding in Ord Mantell doing some missions.
Yes.
And it started with Order 66. So it started with...
Yes.
So at some point in this was the Mustafar whole debacle.
Mm-hmm.
And then we don't really get an exact... I mean, maybe we did in deeper canon stuff, but we don't have an exact timeline from when that battle in Mustafar is to when we see in the end of Revenge of the Sith where he's rise as armored Vader.
Emperor Palpatine says, Lord Vader, rise. Or henceforth, you shall be known as Darth Vader, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's Darth Vader. Go to the Jedi Temple and murk everybody, right?
Yes.
Then he says, go to the Mustafar system and kill the remainder of the Separatists. There's the attack on the Jedi Temple.
Mm-hmm.
The next morning, Anakin pulls up in his speeder shuttle. Order 66 has already happened in Bad Batch.
Mm-hmm.
The next morning, which is when he pulls up in his ship to his awesome penthouse that he gave up with this super hot wife, Natalie Portman, and he says, I'm going to Mustafar to end this war. There's been an attack, blah, 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 blah.
I guess it is.
He's already Vader. He's already Vader. He's already suited up, man. I'm telling you.
Dang it.
Yeah,
I was hoping that there was like some type of a...
Because we've never seen that Vader outside of Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you. Roberto's the one who had to correct me because I thought the same thing. The first time I heard it, and of course it's because we saw it in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God, we're getting non-suited Darth Vader. But the order that Palpatine gives him is too quickly and too much for And like I said, Order 66 happens. Right when Anakin walks out of that room, he goes, Commander Cody, now is the time, execute Order 66. We see all the Jedi get murked. Anakin goes to the temple with the 501st. He kills everybody. The next morning, he shows up, temple's on fire.
I guess it is like snappy,
it's
like
quick.
Night and morning, next thing happens, yeah.
Yeah. He literally goes from Anakin, and in 12 hours, he fights Obi-Wan and turns into suited Darth Vader. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, because in my head, it was kind of ambiguous as far as they don't tell you finite time frames that all of that stuff happens.
In Bad Batch. Oh, you mean in Revenge of the Sith?
Yeah, like you can assume that it's like boom, 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 but that didn't necessarily mean that it was.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't mean that it was. It's just we see Anakin march on the temple at night, and the next day he's with Padme, and the temple's on fire in the background. And then he says, I'm going to Mustafar, I'm going to end this war, all that stuff, right? You turned her against me. Yeah. You've done that yourself.
I just really would love to see some more
Me too.
unsuited Vader.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Regardless, we get Vader in any fashion. That's what I think is going to happen. And I have a low expectation for that happening. So if it doesn't happen, I'm not going to be like, oh my gosh, this should have happened. Kind of like what I said about the brother versus brother. But I really wanted brother versus brother to happen. But closing thoughts. I love this episode. Still a 7 out of 10 for me.
Where's the season sitting right now for you?
As compared to what? Overall?
Yeah, just an overall, like...
What, 1 out of 10?
Yeah.
How many Mandos would sit and actually watch this?
Mm-hmm.
Man.
I think it's only for me about a 6.
I was literally about to say a 6. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Mandalorian is just so much better for me.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Mandalorian felt a lot newer. I still feel like we're in a Star Wars that I'm enjoying, but I still want to move past.
And my 6 could drastically go up as seasons progress.
Yes.
And if they start pulling things that to me are a worthless filler episode as of right now, but later is like, oh, now I can understand why they made this episode, it can go up.
Yeah.
But right now, like, there's too many... When you're waiting for 7 days, like, just waiting for an episode, and you're like, please give me something good, and then it's just like... They went to on a worthless mission to save a worthless person that accomplished nothing for them in the long term, and it was just like a stupid little story. Don't give a crap about that, and it's very frustrating.
Yeah, it can be for sure. More coming for season 2, obviously. We'll be back next week. We'll be talking about the season finale, and then I'm sure we'll be talking about more as a whole. Me and you need to get together, too. We have to talk about them hiring the deepfake actor.
Yes.
That and I'll show you that afterwards as well. Guys, thank you very... You know what?
What? I burped again. Uh-oh. We never went to the cantina.
We never went to the cantina. Shame on us. Shame on us.
Close it down with the cantina.
Closing it down.
What are you having?
That's a first. Well, let's scrap this episode.
No growth.
Man. Well, during that Bad Batch finale episode, I was drinking 2 things. I was drinking a New Realm sour, which I've talked about on the podcast before. It is their lime party, which is a key lime pie sour. And I have gotten to that point in my life where I'm drinking light beer.
Coors Light is hitting right with
Coors. The heat.
It's so miserable in Florida.
It's so hot here, guys. Send help. Send us bottles of water. Do not send us ices in the mail like Dylan did, but that will not help. But the Coors Light is Coors Light your favorite beer? Your favorite light beer, I mean.
Favorite light beer? I bounce between Coors Light and Miller Lite. They're both my pretty even.
I think Coors has more of a beery taste than Miller.
Mm-hmm.
And Miller is so bubbly. It's like I'm you.
Well, I mean, I'm burping like 4 or 5 times during this episode. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's my favorite light beer for sure.
It's delicious.
Yeah,
it's not delicious like
10.
if I want to go out for an evening and enjoy a delicious beer, but like
it is better on draft though.
It's 1,000 degrees and we're recording in the middle of the afternoon. I didn't want a heavy profile beer, or I definitely didn't want a liquor drink right now.
No,
the only way I was toying the idea is like maybe if I make like a margarita or something refreshing, but even that I was like, I saw the Coors Light when I was getting gas and I'm like, oh my god, I need that. I need it.
I'm doing it too. It's getting me in the it's getting me in the burps.
Coors Light, it's a bargain. They have cool temperature acted sunglasses on the can.
Yeah.
I would try to put it sideways, but I would probably pour beer on myself.
Guys,
Sponsor
thank
us,
you
Coors.
for joining us this week at Konkon's Cantina, the #1 Star Wars drinking podcast in the universe. Don't forget, we have Pokemon content on TikTok at PokeCantina. We need to do a TikTok for us. We need, it's all time. And we will be back next week talking about the season as a whole, the season finale of Bad Batch. Yeah, we'll be doing all of it. Guys, I was your boy. It's Konkon. And sitting across from me, as always,
Jay Breezy.
And we'll catch you guys next time.
Later.